Everybody, welcome to Coffee and a Book. It's good to see everyone here this morning. I'm dragging. I didn't get a lot of sleep and couldn't fall asleep, and then got woken up early, and yeah. So I've already had most of my coffee this morning, so now it's just a sip of coffee and a book. So yeah, it's been a rough one. Today I'm still reading from the personal journal of Trevor Ewatts, where we left off yesterday. I think it was page 66. That's fine. I don't remember what was going on. Oh yeah, he had opened up the letter and found out that his ex-wife had passed away, and one young lady he met was there and staying the night. So yeah, so it's a different entry today. It says January 1st, 2002. New Year's on Tuesday is a terrible thing. Everything was closed yesterday and today. Excuse me. But almost every rental in the area was full. Hi, Stats. How are you? Thanks for coming in. One of my properties was raided by the police due to drug activity being reported. Another property had such a wild party that it was completely trashed. All the walls need repaired. The ceiling fans were ripped down, and many of the windows were broken. Thankfully, my insurance should cover all of the damage. The police arrested a rather large group of underage drinkers, and the adults who rented the property are also being arrested for contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Or delinquency of a minor. Those were just my properties. The properties I managed for others was even worse. We're talking fires in the yards, in the house, in the condos, on the balconies, naked people everywhere, drugs, alcohol, and pure stupidity seem to run rampant this year. This is the first time I have ever had a single problem. Thank you. Ever had a single problem on New Year's. I didn't just get a single problem, I had hundreds of them. I'm going to get a good night's sleep, and I'll need it to handle all of the nightmares I'll be facing tomorrow. January 7, 2002. What a wonderful Monday. Allison decided that my work schedule and my inability to travel to Pensacola at her every whim isn't going to work for her. Good. She ended up being a very boring person. Pardon me for being cynical, but I've been rather disappointed in people lately. All hell broke loose at the office because of the New Year's destruction. Insurance companies and representatives flooded the office. Clients were blowing up the phones to find out what happened. Police agencies were calling to find out client information. Lawyers were calling, threatening to file suit. It's days like today that make me wish I had installed a hot tub. I think I'll make that call tomorrow. Happy hump day to you as well. It is Wednesday, isn't it? Oh, snake feeding day. Woo! Okay. Whoops. I went too far. Pushed the wrong button. Sorry about that. January 9, 2002. Today is my birthday. I'm now officially 24 years old. After everything that has happened since Monday, I feel much older. I called yesterday about getting a hot tub installed. The guy came over today, and construction will begin tomorrow. None of the concrete will have to be torn up, but part of the yard will have to be dug to lay piping for water and other stuff for electricity. It should only take a few hours to install, and I will be happily relaxing in my hot tub tomorrow night. March 21st, 2002. The past 2 months have been insane. Thankfully, everything worked out with the New Year's ordeal. Being the middleman, none of the responsibility of the renters fell on me. All I did was take the client's money and find them a place to stay. Every customer is given a copy of the rental contract. If they violate it, it is their responsibility to pay for damages. Only one of my properties was damaged, and everything was covered by the insurance company, and the insurance company is going after the people who rented the property. My hot tub has been very beneficial since I had it installed. It has helped me relax, and even though it's winter, A few female beachgoers have managed their way into the hot tub with me. I met a woman named Mandy. She is the daughter of a client, and she happened to notice me when she was picking up some paperwork for her father. I was getting ready to leave the building at the same time she was, and I held the door open for her. Somehow or another, we ended up scheduling dinner for tomorrow. What really caught my attention was the brand new Ferrari 550 Bruschetta in the parking lot. I can't compliment it on her taste. She chuckled and then drove off. March 22nd, 2002. I decided to drive my Lamborghini Diablo to dinner tonight. Mandy drove her Ferrari, and we both had a good laugh as we pulled into the parking lot of the restaurant, one behind the other. The valet was blown away when we both had him park the cars for us. Dinner was excellent. The conversation between Mandy and I flowed easily. We didn't talk about our jobs or even ourselves. We just talked about stuff. Nothing of significance, but good conversation. We have agreed to meet at the docks tomorrow morning at 6. That's really early for me, but she promises a day of fun. As we left the parking lot in our separate exotic cars, I decided that I need to get a much louder exhaust. Mandy's car sounded gorgeous. March 23rd, 2002. I got to the docks a little early. I didn't drive the Lamborghini because I don't trust tourists with fancy cars. They tend to get scratched, dented, and laid on by people. Mandy showed up right on time. She informed me that we would be taking a fishing boat out for the day. I have never been fishing. I had actually never been on a boat before either. Oh, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. The ride out into the Gulf of Mexico wasn't bad. One of the other passengers on the boat got seasick, and I helped him lie down on one of the benches. I had to leave his side after that because he got sick, and I almost got sick. Fishing was awesome. I caught a lot of mingo snappers and a few triggerfish. Mandy caught her share as well. When we got back to the docks, the fishermen who worked on the boats cleaned the fish for us. We gave them a tip, and Mandy invited me back to her house so we could cook them for dinner. Her house was very impressive. I know how Tiara felt every time she walked into my house. She had it decorated in a classic style, and the artwork that hung on the walls was exquisite. Mandy cooked the fish, and I helped cook the side dishes. She instructed me on what to cook, and this wasn't my first rodeo in a kitchen. Everything came out superbly. We continued the light conversation we had on the boat as well as we ate. We talked about everything but our jobs and ourselves. No politics, no religion, and no business. It was wonderful. Tomorrow we are meeting at the pier in Navarre at 5 in the morning. I was told to bring a swimsuit, a towel, and a small bucket. I'm left in wonder. March 24th, 2002. I had to stop to get coffee on the way to the pier. My coffee pot shattered when I tried to put water in it somehow. Somehow I tapped it on the granite countertop and kaboom! I still made it to the pier before Mandy. Hello, Troy, how are you? Thanks for coming in. No, it's not every day. It's going to be tomorrow, and then I'm not sure. I know next week Randall's on vacation. We have a lot planned, and maybe the week after that I'll do some more. I don't know how long it's going to be, or maybe just until I read all my books. We'll see. Where was I? I still made it to the pier before Mandy. She pulled in just as I parked. She waved me to get into her car. I joined her, and we drove further down the beach. There is a stretch of land between Navarre Beach and Pensacola Beach that is owned by the state. There is nothing on the land except a small state park and a few parking areas. Mandy stopped at the first parking area. Thank you. It was KT's idea, actually. We walked to the beach. She told me that after the last hurricane, an old shipwreck had washed up on this beach and in this area. It is rumored that there are gold coins littered on the beach, and the best time to find them is when the tide is out. The tide will be fully out at 6:45 this morning. She then informed me that those are rumors. She just wanted to bring me to the beach because the shells that can be found are some of the bigger and rarest in the area. Yes, low tide is the best time to find them because there is a shelf that collects them that is harder to access during high tide. We managed to collect a lot of huge shells. The bucket I brought wasn't big enough to hold them, so we are lying them on the beach near the bucket. We didn't just find shells either. We found 7 old bottles, but none had any letters in them. We found 20 or so pairs of sunglasses, several shoes and flip-flops, a boat bumper, several broken pieces of pottery. Neither of us had noticed that quite a few hours passed, and we also forgot to put on sunblock. I could feel the sunburn starting to ache on my back and shoulders and face. Mandy was extremely red also. We went back to the pier and got my Suburban. I joined Mandy at a little diner-style restaurant just on the other side of the Navarre Bridge on the mainland. Simple, basic food. We ate slowly because our sunburns were starting to get the better of us. Not sure how we forgot sunblock when we live in Florida and know that sunblock is the most important thing to take with you when you go to the beach. We decided to come to my house after we left the diner. Mandy sat down on the couch while I located the Aloe Sun Relief Gel. When I found it and came back to the living room, she had fallen asleep. I didn't want to wake her, but she woke up when I came in the room. She apologized for falling asleep, but I assured her that it was not a problem. I put the aloe on her shoulders and back. She finished putting it on her face, and then she put some aloe on my back and shoulders. I finished putting some on my face and arms. Neither of us wanted to move, but we tiptoed to the kitchen and each got a bag of frozen peas to soothe the burning. It helped a lot. Mandy ended up going home after a few hours of us sorting our finds at the dining room table. We didn't bring the shoes in the house, but the rest is still scattered on the table. I decided that I will call into the office tomorrow and let my sunburn settle before I face a day at work. Mandy said she will do the same, and she will come by around noon with something for us to eat and also help me clean up our treasures. I met Mandy on Thursday, and for the past 3 days we have spent with each other. And for the past 3 days we have spent with each other. This has been interesting at the least. I like it. Yeah, sunblock, but the best thing for sun is to cover up. That way you don't need sunblock. Just wear long sleeves, light shirt. I learned that riding a motorcycle too. March 25th, 2002. Mandy showed up precisely at noon. She brought fresh mozzarella cheese, tomatoes, kale, balsamic vinaigrette, olive oil, and some artisan bread. We ate caprese sandwiches for lunch. Mandy surprised me with her mannerisms. She seemed right at home with me. Our relationship wasn't strained in any way, and we had only just met. There was never an uncomfortable silence or any awkward moment between us. To me, it seemed like we've known each other forever, and we are just going about business as usual. Yeah, very true. March 26, 2002. Only sunburnt once. Yeah. Today was a rough March 26, 2002. Today was rough at work. Owning and operating my business is a dream, but it is a lot more work than I could have dreamed. I think it's mostly because I was still dealing with very painful sunburn. The call center is busier than anyone could have expected. We are taking hundreds of calls an hour at times. Rentals are up to record highs. Sales have been incredible because of all of the new construction. Mandy stopped by the office briefly to ask me if I wanted to stop by for dinner at her house. I gladly accepted. Mandy made a phenomenal dinner, lamb with a mint sauce and all the sides. I have never eaten so well in my life. She is not only an exquisite cook, but I found out that she owns several restaurants as well as several fast food chain restaurants. If she wanted to, she could eat free every meal of every day. She chooses to only show up at the fast food restaurants to make sure things are running smoothly. She frequents the regular restaurants several times a week to ensure that everything is up to par. Her father wanted to give her the money to start her business, but she refused his offer, so she could say that she did this on her own. He was prouder of that decision than she thought he would be. After dinner, we went for a walk along the beach. I was surprised when she took my hand. The entire time I was married to Candy, she never held my hand in public. This was different for me. I don't know what to expect next. I don't know where this is going to lead. I very much like her, and I hope this goes somewhere. I'm tired of messing around with women for no reason. I want to feel purpose again, and I want to be able to express myself with meaning again. Yeah, darker clothing. One of my friends is from Dubai, and when he goes to the beach, he's like, dude, it's nothing like Dubai. Dubai, you have to cover your whole self. Oh, lost my tablet. Let me fix that right quick. April 1st, 2002. I was blown away today. Mandy met me at the house after work. We were walking along the beach, and she stopped and grabbed both of my hands. She looked deep into my eyes. She then said that she likes small, simple, single round diamond. Nothing flashy or fancy, yellow gold preferably. She thought I would want to know this in case I decided that I want to ask her an important question anytime soon. I thought it was an April Fool's joke because of the date, but she was very serious. What are you doing, Autumn? I just smiled and then leaned in for a kiss. It was the first kiss we shared since we met. It was mesmerizing. I can't lie and say that I had thought about marrying Mandy, but this was very sudden and early in our relationships. Sometimes you just know when you are ready for something and you go for it. Tomorrow I plan on going to a jewelry store and look for a ring. I also have to ask her father for her hand. Then I have to plan on how to ask her, do I really want this? It feels right, and I'm very happy with her. Everything between us seems to flow easily. There is no conflict, and we have all the same interest. She has also opened my eyes to many things I hadn't thought about before, like art. Who knew a few swirls and swoops on canvas with some paint could be so meaningful? Why are you pushing the tray, Autumn? April 2nd, 2002. Today was filled with showing clients new properties and closing a few deals. 2 of the 5 couples I showed properties to today didn't find anything they were ready to jump on yet, but they are still looking. I went to a jewelry store to look at some engagement rings. When I bought Candy's ring, it was easy because she showed me what she wanted. Mandy just told me what she liked. What is small to her? Just a single stone is easy, but then you have to think about how good the cut is, certified or not, clarity, color, and the size of the band. After all, the ring has to fit her. I ended up calling her sister and asking her if she knew Mandy's ring size. She thinks the size 5, but she isn't for sure. Why are things so difficult? Why are these things so difficult? I ended up getting a 1 carat ideal cut round DFL certified diamond set in a 6-prong 18 carat yellow gold size 5 band. 1 carat seems small to me, but it might look huge on her hand. I went with 1 carat because less than 1% of all gem quality diamonds are over 1 carat. They had a gorgeous 5 carat, but that was way too big. The price wasn't much less than my Lamborghini. I decided against that one. Mandy's sister agreed that it would be too big. Oh, come on. I jumped ahead, sorry. There we go. Mandy's sister agreed that it would be too big. I went to Mandy's father's business office, and when I walked in the door, he smiled and greeted me with a hug. I fumbled on my words. He just laughed, slapped me on the back, and said I could marry his daughter with his and his mother's blessing. I guess Mandy's sister tipped him off that I would be coming. April 27, 2002. Sorry I haven't written for a while. It's been a busy month. I sold a lot of homes, condos, and properties. The call center is busier than ever. Mandy and I have been spending every day together after work. We spend a lot of time on the beach finding shells and other treasures. She really loves beach class, and I've been working on putting the collection we have found into jars. I'm separating them by color. I want to display them on the shelves with lights under the jars to make the colors of the glass reflect on the walls. I have found a lot of old broken pottery and ceramic pieces. I have those in jars also. I say jars because some of the pieces are rather large and they required larger jars. All of the sunglasses are in a box, and we throw away the shoes. The other items we find usually end up in the trash. All of the solid bottles we find are lined up along the back of the house until we decide if we want to clean them or leave them how we found them. Most of the bottles are modern, but there are several from the 1800s. I've learned that bubbles in glass is a good thing because it means they are usually hand blown and old. Different colors have different rarity as well. Cobalt blue is a really sought after color. Purple is another color people love to get. If you ever find a red bottle, you have struck gold. Any bottle with the skull and crossbones or any that has poison are really valuable. Green and brown are common colors, but there are some bottles that are worth money because of contents. Clear glass is very common. If it isn't a medicine bottle, milk bottle, or some rare bottle, they aren't usually worth much. I probably have close to 50 bottles lined up on my patio next to the house. Yesterday evening, we went for a long walk on the beach. I was trying not to show my nervousness. Mandy's family decided that they wanted to walk with us. I actually invited them along, and they were kind enough to humor me. We were all looking for shells, bottles, and sea glass. Mandy's mother helped me out a great deal because she was carrying a bottle that I had put Mandy's engagement ring in. She pretended to find the bottle just past the water line. Mandy was anxious to take a look at it because it was red glass. I took the bottle from Mandy's mother and pretended to look at it. Mandy was right beside me while I was looking. I shook the bottle and said that I thought something was in it. Mandy put out her hands to catch whatever it was that might fall out. I tipped the bottle over into her hands. Thanks, babe. How are you? I tipped the bottle over into her hands. When her ring fell into the palms of her hands, she gasped. She started to cry and looked at me sheepishly. I asked her to marry me, and she didn't hesitate to say yes. Both of her parents and her sister had tears in their eyes also. I had a hard time fighting the tears back myself. It was a beautiful moment in our lives. I can't wait to help plan the wedding. Tomorrow, Mandy is coming over to discuss what kind of wedding she wants. I'm looking forward to helping plan the wedding. My first marriage, I didn't get to do anything but pay the bills, but pay the expenses. Oh, I'm dying today. It's raining outside and the allergy weather got me messed up. April 28th, 2002. Mandy came over today. We both agree that we want a simple and small wedding. Her parents, sister, and a few of hers and my friends will be the only ones invited. I'm going to invite my brother, but the last time he had planned a trip, he never showed up. He said he got busy at work and couldn't make it. When our parents died, he said there was nothing to do because our parents rented and they owned very little of anything. I didn't want anything to do with him anyway, so I let him make all of the plans. He preferred it that way. Mandy and I are going to have a morning wedding ceremony on the beach. We are then going to have a light lunch with our guests. We are thinking about a few different places to go for our honeymoon, but neither of us wants to go the traditional route. We already live in Florida, so the only places we could go are out of the country or Hawaii. I'll let you know what we decide when we get to that step. Mandy and I discussed where we are going to live when we get married. Her house is enormous, but she had a very bad relationship with someone when she first purchased the house. I was married and divorced in my house. We decided that we are going to sell both of our houses and buy a new one together. We are looking at a few new builds. Where am I at? Oh, we are looking at a few new builds. We want to start a relationship. Where am I at? We want to start a new relationship with each other, and we might as well do so in a brand new home. The houses we are looking at will be completed just before we get married. We are looking for smaller square footage than we both have now. I'm sitting at over 6,500 square foot, and Mandy's house is almost 10,000 square feet. Neither of us need anything that big. The upkeep alone is a lot of work. The homes we are looking at are all on the water. There is one in particular that is supposed to be ready for move-in June 1st. That's the day we decided to say our nuptials. The house we are looking at is a few miles outside of town. It sits on 5 acres of beachfront property, and there are very few tourists who visit the area. It isn't because the beaches are bad, but it's because the area isn't developed for tourism. We are both looking to get out of the hustle and bustle of the tourist area since we both have to deal with a lot of people on a daily basis. We need a break from everything, and a house away from it all will be perfect for us. We are supposed to talk to the listing agent tomorrow, and we hope to visit the property even though the home is still under construction. April 29, 2002. Mandy and I went to look at the property today. It was being built by an older couple from New York. They were looking to retire, but they decided against the area. They found a better property further south on the Gulf Coast, and they went with it. The home is still under construction, and we will be able to make a few changes to some areas of the home to make it ours before it is built. Yes, we bought it. We close in 3 weeks, and we have already looked at the plans and submitted the changes we want to make. We are adding a swimming pool, a seawall, and have changed the kitchen and bathrooms cabinets and countertops. We didn't really like the pink granite they had chosen for the bathroom. The home is 5,400 square feet, has 5 bedrooms and 6 bathrooms. We are adding a small pool house with a kitchenette, a small living area as well, The developer had already designed a beautiful patio area with the huge grill and seating area with the fire pit. We are thinking about putting a gazebo somewhere in the backyard, but we want to do the landscaping ourselves once the home is ours. The developer said that the landscaper wasn't going to be happy, but it's our decision to do what we want. I've never done any kind of landscaping or gardening in my life, but I'm willing to learn and try. Mandy is really excited to move in and decorate as we go. We are going to move in without any of our old household items. She is going to have an auction for all of her belongings, and she is going to keep the things she bought for herself or was given as a gift by someone she actually cares about. I bought my house furnished, and I have nothing except for the jars of glass, shells, and other bottles. Mandy, what? And the bottles Mandy and I, what? I can't even type. Have found along the beach. Mandy suggested I auction off my house as is after we move in to the new house. She is going to have the auction on the 18th of next month. She is going to live with her parents until the wedding day. I don't have any family other than my cousin in Miami and my brother in Wisconsin, so I need a place to live until the wedding. The wedding is already planned. Mandy's uncle is a minister, and he is going to marry us. Mandy is looking for a very simple wedding dress, and she wants me to just wear a simple white shirt with a design on it and darker tan dress pants. Of course, we will both be shoeless. We are getting married on the beach, and if you have ever worn shoes on the beach, you learn very quickly that you usually end up with more sand in your shoes than you have foot. The lunch we have planned is going to be catered by one of her restaurants. She says they are the best food in town, but she might be biased on that opinion. She let me choose the menu. When you decide to have a simple wedding, there isn't much to plan. All right, May 18, 2002. Mandy held the auction for her house and belongings today. I was shocked when several of the paintings in her home went well into the 6 figures. One almost hit 7 figures. Her house went well above market value, and the rest of her belongings went for crazy high prices. I never thought I would see a crock pot sell for $70 when you can buy it new in a store for $45. Some people just go nuts at an auction. The Ferrari is parked in my garage until the wedding. I had to move some stuff in the garage to get it in there, but she is parked comfortably next to my Lamborghini. Business has been insane. I have sold more houses so far this year than I sold all of last year total. It's because I have the sole rights to sell all of the newly built neighborhoods and a lot of the condominiums that are almost finished building. I don't count the pre-sale buys on the condominiums that aren't built yet because a lot of buyers drop out and others come swarming in to buy them up. When the building is finalized and all the buyers are locked in, then I count the sales. I did a review of the call center yesterday. Jay is an amazing manager. There are several managers of different departments, but he is the manager for everything. I'm going to surprise him with a hefty raise Monday. I think he deserves it, and I know he'll appreciate it. My brother said he won't be able to make the wedding. He regrets it, but he is working full time, and since he works in a cheese factory, it's the busy season. I didn't know that there was a busy season for cheese. I'm thinking of asking Jay to be my best man. He and I have gotten to be really good friends since I hired him. I know it's sad, but I don't really have any close friends. Most of the people I associate with are for work. Jay is an employee, but he has been over to the house with his girlfriend to swim in the pool and to play board games with Mandy and I. We aren't best friends, but he's the closest person to me outside of work. I think I really need to make more friends. I used to mingle with the people at church, but we never hung out per se. May 20, 2002. I gave Jay an envelope today. I had written a number on it, and it said, "This is his proposed new yearly salary." When he opened it and looked at it, he started to tear up. He then wrapped his arms around me in the tightest bear hug I've ever had. It felt good to make him so happy. After he settled down, I took him to lunch. We went to a burger joint that he likes, and I asked if he would like to be my best man. He was speechless at first, but then he graciously accepted. He told me he would be honored to do that for me. He also asked if he could bring his girlfriend to the ceremony. I told him we already sent the invite, and we made sure she was included. I knew I wasn't giving him much time, but I wanted to make sure I made the right decision for my best man. He said he is wanting to throw me a killer bachelor party, but I turned him down. I thought it best that Mandy's father, Jay, and I go out and have some hot wings or something. I didn't want anything fancy, and I really don't want strippers. I don't drink, so the bar scene is out. I told him that if he wanted to, we could go fishing out on one of the fishing boats. I would pay because I didn't want to put him out any money. He was excited about this. May 25th, 2002. This week was crazy busy at work. Jay helped me pick out a shirt for the wedding. Mandy found the perfect dress. One of my realtors got into a fist fight with another realtor, but both were arrested and the clients thought it was hysterical. I had to really smooth things over with the other realtor's firm, and I also had to fire one of my best agents. The other realty firm fired their agent as well, and the client decided they were going to buy the condo anyway. Jay planned the fishing trip for the 31st. It's the day before the wedding, and that's the only day he could get off for vacation in such short notice. I might have to talk to his boss. Wait, I am his boss. Hi, Anna. Thanks for coming. Yeah, we haven't had any storms here, but I saw you guys are getting a bunch. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming. Mandy and I have decided that we are going to go visit Wisconsin, where I grew up, for our honeymoon. I was hesitant about this idea, but I haven't been back there since I was young. I'm actually very nervous about going back. My brother might be happy to see me, but then again, he hasn't really made much of an effort to be part of my life. I guess we will see what happens when I get there. We are going to fly into Chicago and rent a car. Mandy wants to see Illinois, Wisconsin, Iowa, and Minnesota while we are there. We are both taking 3 weeks off work so we can travel without being rushed. I'm not sure I can handle 3 weeks away from work. It'll be relaxing, but I will worry about everything falling apart. May 29, 2002. I had a moment at work today. I was showing a newlywed couple a home, and they mentioned that they had gotten married a little over a week ago. It suddenly hit me that I'm going to be getting married for the second time in my life in 3 days. I'm 25 years old, and I'm already getting ready to start my second marriage. I'm really scared. What if Mandy marries me and then decides that we made a terrible decision? What if everything just falls apart? My marriage to Candy seemed perfect, and then I found out that it was not even the slightest bit perfect. I guess I turned pale because my clients asked me if I was all right, and they helped me to sit down. I actually opened up with them and got personal with my clients for the first time in my life. I never brought my personal life to work, but today it slapped me in the face. I didn't get into the detail about how I was feeling, but I told them that Mandy and I were getting married on Saturday, and I'm really nervous. They were understanding and reassured me that everything was going to be perfect for us. They started telling me about their wedding. He is in the Air Force, and they had a simple chapel wedding, just a few friends and family. They didn't want to spend a lot of money on a wedding because they had been saving to buy a house. His time in the military is almost up, and he already has a job that pays 4 times his current salary, and he will be doing the exact same job he performs now. They asked about our wedding, and I told them that we are having a simple ceremony on the beach and a lunch afterwards. They were impressed that even though Mandy and I are very wealthy, that we decided to keep things simple. I would say that neither of us likes to show off our wealth, but she drives a Ferrari, I drive a Lamborghini, and we both have huge house on the beach. Had huge houses on the beach. Man, that just reads weird. Mine will be auctioned off as soon as we get back from the honeymoon. My clients loved the home that I showed them, and they put in an offer. I knew their offer wouldn't be accepted, so I put in the offer with a larger down payment. I decided that I would pay a much larger down payment on top of the offer as a wedding gift they had initially told me. I didn't tell them that until after the offer was accepted. They were both in tears. Yes, I invited them to the wedding. Mandy and I closed on our home today. We now own a 5-acre beachfront property with a 5,400 square foot home on it. We will have to change her name on the paperwork after we are married because she wants to take my last name when we become one. I'm not only honored by this, but I'm excited to call Mandy Mrs. Ewatts. She chuckled when I told her this. We took a tour of the completed house, and it is immaculate. Everything looks better than the computer models the the developer had printed up. The realtor said everything came out better than she had expected also. She loved our choice for the cabinets and countertops. The stainless appliances really tied the kitchen together. After we closed on the house, we went to the furniture store and picked out a bed. It won't be delivered until after we get home from our honeymoon, but Mandy wants to make sure we at least have somewhere to sleep when we spend our first night in our new home together. We plan on shopping for the rest of the furniture when we get back from the honeymoon. Tonight, tonight is the last time I will see Mandy until Saturday when we get married. Tomorrow and Friday, she is going to be out of town for a restaurant convention. She invited me to go, but I have to get everything at the office organized so it functions perfectly without me being there for the 3 weeks. I'm going to be stressed out. Fishing on Friday is going to be the perfect way to relax after a busy day tomorrow. May 30th, 2002. Everything at the office is going to be fine while I'm gone. My office manager has had everything planned since I told her that I was going to be gone for 3 weeks. I don't know why I was stressed. My office manager is the person that actually keeps my firm running smoothly. I just show up and do whatever she tells me. It's wonderful being boss and taking orders from my employees. She has been with my company since day one. She knows how I run everything. She is basically my second brain. I appreciate her more than I could ever tell her. I have to head to bed because I have to be awake early tomorrow for my bachelor party fishing trip. We are going out for a half day and then going to dinner at a hot wing restaurant. Hi, Marketplace Boutique. How are you? Thank you for coming in. May 31st, 2002. Fishing was a blast. Jay is a lot of fun to hang out with. Mandy's father, Derek, has got to be one of the funniest people I have ever met. Every time I have ever seen him, he is a very serious businessman. Now that I've gotten the chance to hang out with him, I truly enjoy his presence. We went out to the boat. We went out on the boat at the crack of dawn and didn't arrive until late in the evening. Just being out in the fresh air has me completely exhausted. I'm off to bed because I'm getting married tomorrow. June 1st, 2002. Mandy and I got married today. The service was beautiful. I cried all the way through my vows because I knew I meant every word. Mandy's vows were so beautiful that every person in the audience cried. She is truly amazing. The lunch that followed was great. We received a lot of gifts, even though we didn't register anywhere, and we can buy anything we could ever need. Since Mandy sold everything, including her house, at the auction, she has nothing. Since I will be selling all of my things, including my house, at an auction when we get back, I will have nothing. We are starting over fresh. We promised that we would not buy we will not buy useless things when we start buying for the house. Neither of us likes clutter, but we both like to have little trinkets. We have decided that we would only decorate our home with things we find for free, minus the furniture. We are going to buy new furniture because that's something neither of us wants to have used. Since we have already picked out a bed, we only need to pick out the furniture for the living room, dining room, study, and whatever else we need. I'm sure there are lots of things that we need that I can't think about right now. We are currently in Monroe, Wisconsin. We flew into Chicago after the lunch, and we rented a car to drive for our 3-week trip. I grew up here. Mandy wants to see my humble beginnings. I wasn't too sure about this, but I decided that I can't run from my past. Since both of my parents have passed away, I only have my brother to reunite with. Hopefully, he will be receptive of my return. I haven't told him that we would be in town. He only knew that Mandy and I were getting married today. He couldn't make the trip because of work obligation. Mandy thinks we should surprise him at his house tomorrow since it's Sunday, but I'm thinking we should invite him to lunch so he doesn't feel trapped or obligated to meet with us. I'm actually very nervous about meeting him. I don't want him to hate or resent me for leaving the way I did. I don't think he will be hurt, but I honestly don't know. I don't think he will resent me for leaving, but I don't know about that either. I hope he doesn't want a handout. We've never talked about money or our professions other than when my brother told me he worked at a cheese factory. I told him I worked for a real estate firm. I never told him that I owned an empire and have a very nice net worth. June 2nd, 2002. Today was monumental. I met with my brother, Ethan, today. Mandy was very impressed with him. We decided it best to meet at a restaurant so that he didn't feel obligated to meet with us. I called him and told him that we were in town, and he asked to meet at one of the local restaurants in town for lunch. The food wasn't bad, but after eating Mandy's cooking and the food from her restaurants, not much is better. While we were sitting at the restaurant, several people approached our table and talked to Ethan. Mandy and I came to the conclusion that Ethan didn't just work at the cheese factory, but he owned one of the largest cheese-making companies in all of Wisconsin. Mandy and I laughed after we confirmed this with Ethan. He asked what was so funny, and we told him that we didn't want him to resent me because I had opened up my own company and done so well. Ethan got a kick out of this because he thought I would feel the same way. He also thought I would be like our parents and tried to mooch off of him. After we got this information out of the way, everything fell into place perfectly. Ethan opened up to me about everything. He told me about how he had won a little bit in the lottery on his 18th birthday. He bought a building and started making cheese. It didn't take long for his company to expand beyond what he could have ever imagined. In the past 2 years, his business went from a small building to an entire plant. He bought out another company, and everything took off from there. He said that our parents didn't know about the money until they saw an article in the paper about how he had bought out the cheese factory. They immediately tried to extort him for money. I told him about my real estate firm and all of the rental properties I owned. Mandy told him about all of the restaurants that she owned and operated. He was equally impressed. He decided to take us back to his house. He introduced us to his live-in girlfriend, and we talked about anything and everything for hours. Tomorrow, Ethan is taking us on a tour of his factory. I've never been to a cheese factory, but Mandy is beyond interested in learning about the process of cheese making. She is a certified chef after all, and she is always wanting to learn a new craft. I'm not sure what we are doing after all of this, but I guess Mandy and I will probably play things on a day-by-day basis. Mandy and I made love for the first time last night. I have never felt so connected to anyone. She and I somehow read each other's minds, and we sensed what each other wanted. The intensity of everything was mesmerizing. To felt what? To feel so loved. My computer's messing up. To feel so loved, connected, and appreciated during our intimacy that it was to feel so loved, connected, and appreciated during our intimacy, it was almost more than I could handle. All of the other times in my life that I have ever had sex, it was just that sex. There was no connection with any woman I have ever been with. With Candy, it felt more like an obligation than anything else. With all of the other women I've been with, it was out of pure lust and selfishness on my part. There was nothing there between us. Mandy changed this in me. I look forward to sharing this with her for the rest of our lives. She gives me hope and a promise for our future. I love her truly. June 3rd, 2002. I never knew that the art of cheese making was so intense. Mandy and I learned a lot about the business. Mandy more so than me, but I was paying attention. Mandy has decided to buy, use, and sell my brother's products in some of her restaurants. After we tasted many more samples than I could have ever imagined, Mandy made up her mind. Ethan's cheese are sold all over the world, but they are most famous in Wisconsin and the surrounding areas such as Illinois, Iowa, and Indiana. After tasting all of the different cheeses, neither Mandy or I wanted to eat lunch. Our breakfast was served via a continental breakfast at the hotel, and we were able to eat a little dinner at the hotel after we went through a drive-through. I hate fast food, but my stomach couldn't handle much food after all of the cheese. We are planning on meeting up with Ethan and his girlfriend several more times during our stay, but Mandy has many areas that she wants to visit also. She really wants to visit Door County so she can talk to a coffee company there about distributing their coffee. She wants to visit Lake Geneva because she has heard about a wonderful restaurant there. She wants to visit the Mall of America. She wants to visit Galena, Illinois so she can visit former President Grant's home. She wants to visit Freeport, Illinois to see the home of Charles Guiteau. Apparently, he assassinated President Garfield, and he was born in and grew up in Freeport, Illinois. His home is still there, and she wants to see it. While we are in that area, Mandy wants to visit former President Reagan's boyhood home in Dixon, Illinois. She wants to go to Springfield to visit the home of former President Lincoln. I guess Mandy loves American history. Mandy really wants to visit Milwaukee, Wisconsin to visit a restaurant owned by a friend and former classmate. In the final few days of our honeymoon, Mandy wants to spend in Chicago. She wants to see the Windy City and experience everything that it has to offer. She has never been to any city larger than Pensacola, Florida, and she is excited to see Chicago since she saw it from the window of the airplane. We didn't get to see any of Chicago on the drive to Monroe because it is northwest of Chicago and the interstate doesn't go through the city. Good morning, Wing and a Prayer. How are you? Bye, Randall, and love you too. I think that after this trip, I will not only be an expert in former presidents, but also completely worn out from all of the driving and activities. One place I want to visit is Giant City State Park down by Carbondale, Illinois. It is a really long drive to do in one day, but we are going to be heading in that direction to visit all of the other places on Mandy's list, so it won't be so bad of a drive. Whoops. I also want to visit Amish country. It's on the way back from Carbondale, so it won't be a long drive either. I figured after that, Mandy and I can drive over to Keokuk, Iowa, and mine geodes. We both love rocks, and there is nothing better than collecting rocks with hidden gems in them. I've always wanted to mine geodes, and now I have the perfect opportunity. This trip is going to be amazing, and I know that Mandy and I will learn a lot about each other. There is nothing like spending hours upon hours locked in a car driving down a highway to learn about each other. June 4th, 2002. Mandy and I drove to Door County today. It is a very beautiful area. Mandy made a deal to buy and sell coffee for a company located in Door County. They were founded in 1993, and Mandy heard about them through a friend. She will be selling their products in a store in our area. I thought she wanted to sell them in one of her restaurants, but she told me that she has an idea to open a new store that sells specialty products. She wants to sell Ethan's Cheese, the Door County Coffee, and many other companies' products that she plans to meet with and convince them to let her sell them. She hasn't quite made up her mind yet because she wants to discuss it with me in detail before she makes up her mind. I honestly don't mind what she does. It is her dream and her company. She can grow it in whichever way she feels will benefit her. Door County is beyond beautiful. Lake Michigan is huge. I'm used to seeing the Gulf of Mexico, but it is not the same as viewing the lake country. It is going to be very hard to leave this area after experiencing it. I know that we will be able to because we still have the rest of the world to see together. Tomorrow we are driving to St. Paul, Minnesota. It's a bit of a drive from Door County, but we are leaving early in the morning and we plan on staying the night so we can go to the Mall of America. June 5th, 2002. We drove to St. Paul today. It took about 6 hours because I had to stop a lot. It seems like when I drive, I have the bladder of a pregnant woman. I have to stop and pee a lot. I'm sure this is too much information, but after some of the things I've written here, this is mild. St. Paul, Minnesota, or St. Paul and Minneapolis are not what we expected. They are terrible, in fact. We went to the Mall of America, and neither Mandy or I were impressed. It's just another mall. We did like the roller coasters and the theme park in the middle, but after we walked around the mall, we realized that we have the same stores and items for sale in our area. We didn't stay long, and we decided not to stay in the area. Thankfully, we hadn't booked a hotel, and we ended up driving to a little town called La Crosse, Wisconsin. It's a nice little town. There is a brewery here that Mandy wants to tour tomorrow before we head back to Monroe, Wisconsin. We didn't make it too far from La Crosse, Wisconsin. We were driving along the back roads to Monroe, Wisconsin, and we ended up stopping in Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. I went to the Dells when I was a child, but I remember very little about it. The largest water park in the U.S. is located here, and Mandy wants to see what it is all about. Hotels this time of the year are more expensive than some of my rental properties located directly on the Gulf of Mexico, but the one we found is comfortable. We plan on going to Noah's Ark tomorrow, but first we have to buy swimsuits. We both have had swimming pools at our homes before we were married, and we barely used them. Now we're going on our honeymoon, and we're going to a water park. Mandy and I have made love every night since we got married on Saturday. Each time is like the first time, and it is better every time. It is just something magical about Mandy that I can't explain. She is my everything, and I will cherish her forever. June 7, 2002. Mandy never ceases to amaze me. We were at the gate waiting in line to purchase the tickets to Noah's Ark, and Mandy overheard a parent telling her children that they were going to go to another park because they didn't have enough money to cover everyone. Mandy instantly jumped in and paid for their tickets as well as ours. I didn't even realize what she was doing until she had done it. The family was beyond grateful, and they demanded that we take the little money they had to make up for Mandy buying the tickets. We politely refused. We ended up making new friends and spent the entire day with them. After we left the park, Mandy and I invited them to dinner and paid for their meal. They are from Monroe area, and the father actually has a job interview at Ethan's Cheese Factory on Monday. Neither Mandy or I said a word, but we both smiled when we heard this. The family has had it hard after the father lost his job. He was injured in an accident and he couldn't work for many months. The insurance company paid his medical bills, but he hasn't received any compensation for his injuries yet. His lawyer promises that the settlement should come soon, but sometimes these matters can take a while. Mandy managed to slip a few $1,000s into the mother's purse without anyone noticing. We exchanged addresses and promised to write. I'll leave that up to Mandy because I have hard enough time writing in this journal. The only reason I do it is because I want to clear my mind and hopefully reread it and remember my life. June 8th, 2002. We made it back to Monroe, Wisconsin yesterday after we said farewell to the family we met. We got a room at the same hotel we had when we first got here. There are only a few hotels, so the choice was easy. Thankfully, they still had rooms. We stayed in bed all day today and made love. It seemed like an eternity of never-ending ecstasy. Each and every time seemed like the first, and every time was better than the last. I'm officially exhausted. Tomorrow is Sunday, and Mandy wants to visit New Glarus, Wisconsin. It's a small town not far from Monroe. They were founded by the Swiss, and the town is known for their heritage. June 9th, 2002. New Glarus is beyond small. There was nothing really to do there. We walked down the main street, and we were finished in less than a minute. We stopped in a small bakery and a small cheese shop. Nothing else was of interest to us. We decided to go back to Monroe, Wisconsin, and walk around the historic downtown area. It proved to be much more interesting, but there wasn't really much there either. We ended up back at the hotel earlier than expected. We ended up calling Ethan and joining him and his girlfriend for dinner at a restaurant. Tomorrow we are going to Galena, Illinois, and visiting there for the day. Then we are driving to Freeport, Illinois, and seeing the Gateau home. From there, we are driving to Dixon and get a hotel for the night. Tuesday, we are visiting former President Reagan's home and then driving to Springfield, Illinois. We are spending the night there. Then we are driving to Carbondale, Illinois to see Granite City State Park on Wednesday. That evening, we are driving to Amish country and finding a hotel. We are going to visit there on Thursday and drive to Hamilton, Illinois. Friday, we are geomining in Keokuk, Iowa. Saturday, we will be driving back to Monroe. We are going to rest Sunday. After all of the traveling, we both need our rest. We plan on heading to Milwaukee, Wisconsin on Monday to visit a friend's restaurant. After that, we are heading to Chicago to spend the rest of our honeymoon in the Windy City. I'm going to need a vacation to recover from our honeymoon. June 23rd, 2002. We got back to Florida yesterday. I thought I would be exhausted, but Mandy has filled me with a new energy. Whenever we make love, it's like I'm given a new life. I can't explain it, but I feel like I can take the world on by myself. Mandy and I were quite surprised when we walked into our new home to find her parents, Derek and Beverly, bought us furniture. Oh, yeah, okay. They were there for us when we had the bed delivered in our absence, and they took it upon themselves to buy us a couch and other furnishings in the living room. Don't get me wrong, we still have a lot of furniture to buy, but this was a blessing. Mandy and I both crashed almost immediately after we got home, and we found the new bed. Derek and Beverly, I'm sure it was more Beverly, had gotten us sheets, pillows, and a comforter for the bed also. We had ordered a set for the bed, but for some reason the company we ordered them from was delayed in shipping them. We also had towels for the bathroom. The ones we had ordered were delayed from the same company as the bedding. I called Ethan to let him know that we made it home safely. He was glad to hear, and he said that he is going to plan a trip to our area very soon. I'm excited to show him where we live. We went and picked up Julio today. He stayed with Derek and Beverly while we were gone. He was intrigued with the new house. He was scared at first, but then he explored and made himself at home. He is such a goofy cat. June 24, 2002. Being back at work after having 3 weeks off was weird. I didn't feel like I belonged here. I belonged there, but everything flowed easily. It was almost boring being there. I had many appointments, and I showed several homes to clients. The homes I showed were easily sold, and my clients were very grateful. The call center was running smoothly. I talked to Jay for quite a while, and I invited him over for dinner. Mandy was very happy when I asked if this would be all right, and she said she had the perfect meal plan. As soon as I got home, we had to leave again so we could pick out new dinnerware and pans. We also had to buy a new table for the dining room. We barely made it home in time to greet Jay and his girlfriend. Jay helped me set up the new table. We couldn't find a suitable table for our home, so we improvised and bought a cheap one to use for now. Who knew that a table could be so easily to pull out of a box and put together? The chairs were too easy to assemble, and I'm glad they didn't fall apart while we were sitting in them. Dinner was excellent, and the conversation with Jay and his girlfriend was entertaining. Jay is a goofball, and his girlfriend has the patience of a saint. She kept telling Jay to behave himself, but she knew it was all in good fun. June 29, 2002. Today was the auction of my house and everything in it. Let's just say it went better than anyone could have ever expected. The auctioneer said he had never seen anything like that. The house sold for 3 times what I paid for it, and the contents went for insane prices. I never expected I would get that much money from used stuff. Hello, old time gems and antiques. Good to see you. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna read a little bit longer today because yeah, I'm at 112 of 159, and tomorrow I can finish the book. July 4th, 2002. Celebrating a national holiday on a Thursday throws off everybody's schedule. The office was closed for business, but I had to go in to do a lot of paperwork. Mandy and I have been very busy every day after work, shopping for household items, and I haven't had any time to get things done. After I left the office, I went home. Mandy was standing in the kitchen wearing nothing but her apron. She was waiting for my arrival. We made love most of the evening. We spent the rest of the evening walking along the edge of the water, looking for shells, sea glass, and whatever else we could find. I found a larger piece of driftwood, and Mandy helped drag a few of them back to the house. It took several trips back and forth, but we managed to get all of the ones that we liked. We plan on setting them around the yard for landscaping on Saturday. We had sod installed at the house a few weeks ago, and the sprinkler system had kept it alive and thriving. The yard looks wonderful. Mandy and I have spent a lot of time on weekends laying brick to make flower beds. We have designated an area to put in a koi pond with the waterfall. We were going to dig it ourselves and install it, but then we realized that it's a lot more complicated than we can handle. The pond experts are supposed to be here Monday to dig out and install the pond. We will get to pick out fish in a few weeks after the pond is established. Thankfully, someone will be out monthly to check on the pond to make sure everything is healthy for the fish. June 21st, 2002. Mandy and I have finally finished the decorating of the house. We have everything we need. Every room has the minimum number of furnishings, and the rest of it is filled with our found treasures. We have found a lot of interesting things on the beach. Some of the boat bumpers have been used as decorations in one of the bathrooms. We made a mosaic of sunglasses, and it is hanging above the fireplace. Who knew that flip-flops could be put together to make an interesting piece of art? All of the sea glass we have found is in jars throughout the house. Every jar has a different colored glass in it. We did fill a gallon pickle jar with every color, and it's proudly displayed on the mantle of the fireplace. I'm not even going to mention the countless number of shells that are scattered throughout the home. We also picked out 10 koi today. No, I said July 21st. Sorry. Where am I at? They are tiny little things. We can barely see them against the gravel at the bottom of the pond, but they will grow very large very quickly. The pond experts show me how to skim the water, clean out the filter trap, and how to clean the filter if I need to. Everything else that needs to be done will be done monthly by the pond maintenance expert. The yard looks like it came from the cover of a magazine. Mandy and I have planted trees, bushes, and flowers. We live on 5 acres, but we only landscape the front of the house, a little bit on each side of the house, and the area around the pool and patio. The rest has been left natural except a small elevated garden that Mandy plants to grow vegetables in. We have definitely done more than I expected with our home. We are having a housewarming party on Saturday with a few of our close friends and family. Ethan and his girlfriend are expected to be in town Wednesday. They are staying at one of my beach rentals for free. Ethan doesn't know that the rental is free, but I'm sure he will insist on paying. I won't let him, though. He is my brother, and I'm more than happy to let him stay in one of my homes at no cost to him. Mandy is surprising him on Monday with the grand opening of her new store. She has most of the stock already in place, and Ethan's cheese takes up a large section of the store square footage. Mandy also has the Door County Coffee and Tea Company display taking up a large portion of the store. She has sourced wine from very small from small vineyards, fresh baked goods from local companies, seasoning for food from independent companies, sauces, and everything else food. She even has a section dedicated to independent soap companies, candle makers, and other body care products such as lotions and oils. My favorite section is the local artist area. There are some very talented artists in this area, and we are both proud to show and sell their work. I think Ethan will be proud to be part of the celebration. Representatives of the other companies, of the other products being sold, will also be represented. But Mandy is giving Ethan extra recognition because visiting his factory inspired the idea of the shop. July 24, 2002. Ethan arrived today. I wasn't able to pick him up from the airport, and he knew this before he arrived. I had a limousine pick up him and his girlfriend, Jennifer. What? I had a limousine pick him and his girlfriend up from the airport. There we go. I can read now. And his girlfriend, Jennifer, up at the airport and drive them to our house. When he arrived, he had a huge smile on his face. He and Jennifer had never ridden in a limousine before, and he was also happy to see Mandy and I. I think he was more impressed with the house, but he won't say otherwise. Mandy and I drove them to the rental office to get his paperwork and the keys to their rental house. Both Ethan and Jennifer were equally impressed with the rental. It was the modest 3-bedroom directly on the beach. They loved the pool, and it didn't take long for all of us to go to the beach. Ethan and Jennifer were in awe after they enjoyed the view for a while. Mandy and I drove them to the rental car office so they could pick up their car. We gave them a GPS so they could get around without us if they needed to. We parted ways so they could get settled, but we promised to meet them for dinner at a restaurant near their house. They were happy that they could walk there. Neither of them liked the amount of traffic. The area is definitely a lot busier than Monroe, Wisconsin. Press 3 for burr, 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 burr. That's funny. Excuse me. They were both impressed with Mandy's restaurant. Tomorrow, Ethan is going to join me at work to see what my work entails. Jennifer is going to spend time with Mandy to see what she does. And Mandy and I were both surprised that they were more interested in our work than they were the beaches. July 25th, 2002. Ethan almost had a heart attack when I showed some clients a home that was valued at over $12 million. He wasn't shocked at the price of the home. He was shocked that the clients were more than happy to offer the full asking price of the property. Ethan surprised me after we dropped the clients off. He asked if it would be possible. Whoops. What did I just do? Pressed the wrong button, stupid. He asked if it would be possible to help him look for a house to possibly buy. He said he couldn't afford a lot, but it would be nice to have a home on the beach that could that could make passive income for him. We went back to the office and looked at the listings in the area. None of the homes or condos impressed him much. We did look at a few of the we did look at a few of the properties, but he seemed rather disappointed with them after seeing them. I know. I found out that I have to have glasses to read, and I made a tough decision. I decided to quit reading. Just kidding. We met up with Jennifer and Mandy at another of her restaurants. Ethan didn't realize that Mandy owned 17 fast food restaurants in the area, 5 fine dining restaurants, and 9 diners. The fine dining restaurants were rated as some of the best in the country. Hi, Kenny and Debbie, how are you? Jennifer was equally impressed, and she only saw the ones in the immediate area. Mandy's fast food empire extended from Destin to Pensacola. She also has them in Niceville and Crestview. Dinner was excellent. Ethan told Jennifer that he had looked at some houses in the area. She was very happy that he had. When he told her that he didn't find the right one, she asked about the one they were renting. Ethan didn't know that I owned it. He thought that I just paid for the rental. Ethan liked that idea. I told him that I would contact the owner tomorrow to see if they were interested in selling it. They were content with this. That's funny. Glad you made it home safe. How's Debbie doing? We met up with where are we at? Dinner was excellent. Oh no, I already read that. Tomorrow Ethan and Jennifer are going to explore the area and then meet us at our house for a cookout. I plan on using my barbecue for the first time. I want to break it in before the housewarming party on Saturday. July 26, 2002. Ethan came rushing into the office this afternoon. He told me that he needed me immediately. When I asked him what was wrong, he said there was nothing wrong. He just needed my help with something. We got into my Suburban, and Ethan said that he needed to find a jewelry store. I took him to the one I bought Mandy's ring from. Ethan found an engagement ring for Jennifer. The two of them were talking last night, and Ethan realized that he needed to spend the rest of his life with Jennifer. I congratulated him. I asked when he planned to ask her. He said he was going to do it at dinner tonight at our house. He ended up waiting until they were alone on the beach together. Mandy and I weren't too far behind them in our walk, and when Ethan turned to Jennifer and took her hands, we stopped walking and gave them their privacy. We could tell that Jennifer had said yes because she quickly let Ethan put the ring on her finger, and that was followed by a long kiss. It was very romantic. Still feeling down. That's good. Thank you. 20 pounds of bacon. Amen on that one. We have 300 pounds sitting at a farm right now. He's still walking though. After we got back to the house, I told him that the owner of the rental house was interested in selling. I gave them the price, and both Ethan and Jennifer were a little shocked at the price. I showed them comparable homes in the area, and that shocked them even more. The value of the homes far exceeded the asking price of the rental. I told them that the owner was offering them such a good price because he had already made the value of the home in rentals and just wanted to see someone else enjoy the property. This was the truth, and I was also making a rather large profit. The price I gave him was double what I paid for it, even after the cost of fixing it up. Ethan and Jennifer said they would discuss it over the next few days. They are going to be here until Sunday of next week, so they have plenty of time to make a decision. No, that's okay, Joan. Thank you for coming. I'm reading a little bit extra today because I want to hopefully finish tomorrow because I'm on page 111 of one, or I'm sorry, I'm on page 118 of 159. So, which is actually page, what is that? Page 112 of the story. July 27, 2002. Ethan and I sat down today and went over the numbers for the house. I showed him the income that could be made from renting it out. The house was booked for the rest of the season and also through the winter to the couple from New York. Yes, I'm selling my brother the house I purchased 2 doors down from my old house. I showed Ethan and Jennifer my old house when we drove them to the rental. They both agreed that I was smart to sell it and start over. I showed Ethan Mandy's old house while we were driving around the other day, and all he did was swallow hard. Ethan was very happy with the thought that his property would pay for itself in a little over a year if none of the rentals canceled. The house was booked out completely. The only reason I was able to get him in there is because I upgraded the family that was supposed to rent the house for 2 weeks to another one of my properties at no extra charge. They were more than happy to take a better property for the same price. Oh yeah, have fun going to the shop. Thank you for coming in, Troy. The house warming party was great. All of our guests were happy with what we had done with the home. Many brought housewarming gifts, and we were very grateful for them. The barbecue was delicious, and the pool was full. Mandy and I are going to be very happy spending the rest of our lives together in this house. July 28, 2002. Mandy drove Jennifer in the Ferrari, and I drove Ethan in the Lamborghini to Panama City Beach today. We spent a lot of time walking around the tourist shops, and then we spent some time on the beach. On the way home, I drove Jennifer, and Mandy drove Ethan. When we got home, we let each of them drive each car. They were both very nervous to drive such expensive cars. It was fun. July 29, 2002. Ethan and Jennifer were in tears after Mandy gave her speech about the inspiration of the shop. The grand opening was a huge success. The shelves were nearly emptied by the end of the day. Ethan, Jennifer, and I helped restock the shelves all day and then made sure they were full when the store closed. Thankfully, Mandy expected this and had ordered lots of backstock. She spent most of the day ordering more so she wouldn't run out anytime soon. At one point in the day, Ethan and Jennifer excused themselves for an hour or so. Neither Mandy and I thought this was odd because they were on vacation and we didn't want them to work while on vacation. We found out at dinner that they had gone to the courthouse and gotten a marriage license. They have to wait 3 days to get married since they are from out of state, so they plan on getting married on the beach behind our house on Saturday. This was very unexpected for both Mandy and I. Tomorrow, Mandy is taking Jennifer shopping for a dress, and I get to take Ethan to find an outfit. He also wants to spend the day at work with me again. He is fascinated with how I deal with clients. He is also very impressed with the call center and the way it operates. July 30, 2002. Ethan and Jennifer put in an official offer on the house today. They decided that it was the perfect opportunity, and they knew that home values in the area were only going to go up. We are closing on the house on Friday since the offer was pre-approved. It makes it even easier since I'm the owner of the house. Ethan found an outfit for the wedding within 5 minutes of us shopping. We spent the day showing clients' homes, and we also toured quite a few of the properties that I own. We had to make our tours quick because we were there between check-in and check-out times. I like to check in on my cleaning crew every now and then to make sure they are doing their jobs. I have had a few employees that weren't doing their jobs and others that felt the need to liberate my properties of certain valuable items. Mandy and Jennifer spent the entire day looking at dresses, and Jennifer finally found the perfect one. Ethan and Jennifer wanted to spend the rest of the night together, so we parted ways. Mandy and I spent the rest of the evening on the beach together. We didn't look for any treasures. We just held hands and walked and talked. We then went back home and made love for hours. It's late now and I have to be awake early. I'm going to cut this off here, but I had to write today. I'm not sure why it was so important to me to write today, but I just needed to. August 2nd, 2002. We closed on Ethan and Jennifer's house today. Ethan and Jennifer thought it was hysterical that I was the seller. Ethan said he had a gut feeling, but wasn't entirely sure. They are getting married tomorrow. They are having a minister marry them on the beach. Mandy is the matron of honor, and I'm the best man. We are having dinner at a restaurant of their choice, and that's the whole of it. Very small and simple. August 3rd, 2002. Ethan and Jennifer's wedding ceremony was beautiful. It didn't last long, but that is what they wanted. The dinner was exceptional. They chose a very delightful restaurant that I had never been to before. I'm not going to tell Mandy, but I plan on eating there again. Tomorrow, Ethan and Jennifer are heading home. I'm going to miss them. It has been interesting to get to know Ethan since Mandy and my honeymoon. Getting to know Jennifer has been great also. Mandy is quite attached to Jennifer. She is going to miss her the most, I believe. Tomorrow is going to get here quickly. I'm going to say bye for now. August 4th, 2002. Ethan and Jennifer left this morning. Thankfully, they flew out of the airport near here. Driving to Pensacola Airport early on a Sunday is a nightmare. Mandy and I took the Ferrari and Lamborghini out today. We just went driving around having fun. We stopped at a gas station and filled up our tanks, and a woman approached us. She accused the two of us of being arrogant jerks. She didn't put it so nicely, but I don't like to use language like that. She accused us of driving around in our parents' fancy cars, pretending that we are on top of the world. I very politely told the lady that she just needed to walk away. We weren't causing any trouble, and we didn't want any. The lady continued to berate us. She was right in the middle of her verbal assault when I heard a familiar voice rise above the yelling lady's voice. Debbie happened to be witness to the whole ordeal. Debbie got right up in the lady's face and explained that I came from nothing. I worked hard helping others, and if I didn't want and I and if I wanted to buy and drive a fancy car, it was nobody's business. Debbie said Mandy worked very hard for her money, and she told the lady that Mandy owned more restaurants than most famous chefs. Debbie told the lady that if she didn't get on her knees and apologize to both Mandy and I, she was going to make sure the lady was arrested for assault and threatening violence against us. The lady tried to talk her way out of the situation, but Debbie wasn't having any of it. She told the lady to apologize immediately. The lady actually apologized and said that she made an incorrect judgment against us. We thanked her and she left. Debbie just stood smiling at us. She said she couldn't help but step in when an ignorant person opens her mouth. We ended up meeting her at her house so she could drop off her car. We then took turns driving her around, and she had the time of her life. Yeah, they are very nice cars. It amazes me how people can make judgments against someone without asking any questions. Too many people assume things, and they almost always assume wrong. Mandy and I were just going to get in our cars and drive away, but Debbie put an end to that. She also put the lady in her place and made her realize that she was wrong. Either way, it was a situation I wish hadn't taken place. I have to deal with people every day so I can make a living, so I wasn't going to lash out or say anything mean because too many people know me. I'm also not one to let things get to me. I just smile and move on. August 5th, 2002. Mandy and I met with our lawyers today and combined all of our assets. Her name is on my business as an owner, and my name is on her business as an owner. We did this for tax purposes as well as end of life preparations. If either of us dies, the surviving party can easily handle the taking over of the business. I found out that we have a combined net worth of almost $750 million. That's a lot of money for two 25-year-old people to have. I'm still in shock at the amount of assets we own. All of Mandy's restaurants and all of my properties are owned completely. We owe nothing to anyone. With payroll for business covered, we are 100% debt free. When I was a child, I could never have imagined that I would ever be worth $1, let alone a combined value of 750 million. Mandy was blown away too. We are looking how to expand both of our businesses. People are always renting and buying properties, so that's an easy one. Mandy is looking to open new restaurants, but that isn't as easy. Yes, people eat, but most restaurants usually fail within the first 5 years, and it takes at least 3 years to pay off the initial investment. I'm sure I'm wrong on these numbers, but you get my point. I can't wait to see what the future brings for us. Yeah, people do judge a lot of stuff, and it's just ignorant. July 5th, can't read. January 25th, 2003. It's been a minute since I've written. A lot has happened since I last wrote. Mandy has opened up 2 more restaurants. The specialty shop she opened has done so well that she is looking at expanding it. My business is busier than ever. I sold both houses in Miami and also the 2 in Key West. I didn't really want to, but I couldn't refuse the offers I got on all of them. A realtor from Miami contacted me about all 4 houses, and he offered a lot more than I paid for them. Mandy and I flew down to Miami to sign the deal, and then we decided to fly to Orlando and go to Disney. Neither of us had been, and we thought it would be a great idea. Never go to Disney the day after Christmas. It was so busy that we could barely walk through the park. We stayed all day, and it was fun. The next day, we looked at several properties that were up for sale that we could use as rental properties. There is a huge market for vacation rentals near the theme parks, and I took advantage of buying them. Having a business, if I make a lot of money selling assets, I have to purchase something else for tax purposes. Basically, if I don't want to pay income taxes on the sale of the property, I have to buy more assets. I've also managed to purchase a large controlling interest in a condominium building that is currently under construction in our area. The original developer and his partner were on the cusp of bankruptcy, but I bought out the partner's interest. This saved the project, and if all goes well, Mandy and I will make a lot of money. Over half of the condominiums are already sold, and the rest should sell rather quickly now that I'm on the board. I have a lot of clients that like to purchase these types of investment properties. I've given all of them a complimentary VIP call about what the building has to offer, and all of them are jumping on the opportunity to be owners. Hopefully, all goes well. February 1st, 2003. I decided to buy a digital camera today. I've always been interested in photography, and I've dabbled around a little here and there taking photos, but I've never really gotten serious about it. A few of the photos I've taken are hanging on the walls of the house because Mandy fell in love with them and wanted to display them. She said I have an eye for catching the perfect moments. I don't know what this means, but I thought I would try to catch more perfect moments with my new camera. There are so many to choose from that it took me hours to decide. Thankfully, I had a great salesman that enjoyed the art of photography. He didn't get a commission for his sale, so I know that wasn't what drove him to lead me to the camera I ultimately chose. I've been testing it out all day, and it takes really good photographs. Now I need to upgrade my computer so I can store my photos once I take them off of the memory cards. Ooh, hour and 25 minutes. We'll go for a few more minutes. Make it an hour and a half today. September 30th, 2003. I sold my call center yesterday. Mandy and I felt it was the best move for us because we were limited to what we could offer customers. We managed rental properties for tens of thousands of property owners in the area, but the business has a lot more potential than that I'm not experienced enough to handle. A very large hotel empire made us an offer. They claimed to be able to expand the rental property management services nationwide. This means my little call center will be taking calls for properties in Colorado, California, New York, Florida, Alabama, and anywhere else you can think of. We were told that they may even use the call center to take calls for their overseas properties. That would be awesome. Not only did the company offer an outstanding price, but they offered us accommodations for free of charge at any of their worldwide properties. There is a limit to how many stays, but it is a generous number of nights. I see many future travels to many foreign countries for the both of us. Monday, Mandy and I are going out and looking for more properties to purchase. I still own the strip mall where the call center is located, but the call center itself sold for over 10 times what I paid for the entire strip mall. We are looking at other strip malls and other large empty store spaces to move the thrift store to. It has grown substantially, and we don't have enough room to process all of the donations received. Ethan and Jennifer are scheduled to come for a visit next weekend. They are spending 2 weeks here, and we are letting them stay with us. They said they have a big announcement for us, and it can't be told over the phone. I'm very intrigued as to what the news can be. September 27, 2003. Ethan and Jennifer flew in this morning. They sat Mandy and I down and told us that Jennifer is pregnant with twins. This got me thinking about Mandy and I having our own children. I thought I was a father, but Candy had lied to me about that. It was very devastating to me to find out that the child I called my own wasn't mine. This hurt so much that I haven't wanted children until now. I know Mandy had debated on parenthood, and neither of us have really come to a conclusion. We are already 26 years old, and we have more than enough wealth to care for a child. What it really boils down to is, do we have the time it will take to care for our own children? Mandy said that if we have children, that she wants to raise them. There is no way in hell that she would ever take our child or children to a daycare. Her parents could babysit if we needed, but we both agreed that if we are ever blessed with children, that she and I will raise them without outside help. 2-minute warning. Thank you, Kenny. In other words, we won't hire any nanny or daycare to raise our child. We both have our businesses to run, and being able to take care for a child is going to be a huge hurdle. I guess we will make a decision if Mandy gets pregnant as to who will take the time off to raise our child. Jennifer is due in April of next year, and they want to be surprised with the sex of the child. Mandy quickly volunteered our services to go to Wisconsin when the twins are due so we can help with anything. I think this is how Mandy plans to prepare herself for parenthood if we have our own children. So this, I'm going to call it at that. We're on page 124. So tomorrow we start on page 125, and I should be able to finish the book tomorrow. So I want to thank everybody for being here. It has been awesome. I'm hoping you're liking the story so far. So yeah, make sure you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming.